We are live. Hi everybody. We're just setting up basically because today's Tuesday tutorial is again by me, Christine, founder of Simply French Online, creator of the Real French Method, and I'm here to help you learn French or to get some culture in France. I'm just setting everything up so that we can get started. And we're going to be looking at, in particular, the French driving system. I've been asked by Deborah Stilwell and reinforced by Almenia to look at the differences in the way French drive, to look at le code de la route, and basically you can't do it all at once. So I've picked out a bit of it and it's going to be a quiz format for you, which is really nice. So without further ado, I better share my screen and get on with it for you. There we go, we're in. Let's get going. Today we're looking at driving differences in the UK and France. I don't know about the driving in the USA or in other countries, not really, not enough to mention. So what I'm looking at are those signs that we find quite difficult to understand, or we think we recognise straight away, but they might mean something else. And that's because we're English, or that the French have their own particular signs. And what I've done is set it up in a slightly quiz format, so you get a chance to look and think before you're given the answer. So let's go in. Okay, allons-y. So what are the 4 biggest issues on the road in France? Now, not understanding how French people drive is really frustrating. My husband does react. He's like, what's he doing? And World War III is happening in our car as he works out that basically they're not driving exactly as he predicted. And it can cause this frustration, and nobody should be getting cross behind the wheel. So that does cause quite a few problems and tensions when you're driving. Not understanding the sign properly is really important. So I've only picked on the ones that I think really stand out. Otherwise, there's too many. Not having the right documents in the car is something I did for quite a while I was driving, until I thought, I think I might be stopped at some point. Statistically, it's going to happen at some point. So I got my documents ready. So we need to make sure we have those. And then not being sure which fuel to put in is actually an important thing. You need to know your fuel. You need to know what to look out for. You need to know when you get to the petrol station that you know all the little variations in the fuel, so that you know which one to put in. Now, next question is, what's this sign? So there it is, a red triangle on a white background with a cross in the middle of it. What is that sign? What is that sign? So it means you've got the right of way. So when you see that, I mean, I thought of a cross, so I thought I'd forgive you also for thinking, well, it's some kind of crossing. But actually, it's this priority to the right system that the French have, which is really, really confusing at times. Once you get your head around it, you realise it's there to slow you down and to make you take care. Any system that makes you slow down and take care, you would think is good. But if you're confused, or it causes driving problems where you are not paying attention to that system, it can cause an accident. And you will be in the wrong if you don't give way to people coming at you from the right, from the smaller roads. So I found this sign, attention, like priority to the right in all of the village, which means you'll be driving along and there's this tiny little road that you don't notice. People are going to fly out from it. Now, they have full priority, and if they're villagers and they know their village, they are used to coming out. The rest of us will always take care when coming out of a road and turning right. But you do have to give way to the traffic coming out from the right when you see this sign. Okay, what is this sign? It's in French. It says cédez le passage. You have a triangle one again. So what is this sign, cédez le passage? Well, basically, it's give way. Now, imagine you're driving along here, and when I say having priorité à droite, difficult to pronounce with those R's, priorité à droite, you can be driving along and somebody will pop out in front of you. Now, sometimes you'll have the céder le passage, or they will, which means you've got priority, or you'll see traffic lights, which will help you, or they will have traffic lights. But when there's no road markings and no signs, generally you can presume that someone can fly out in front of you. What are these signs? These are the next ones for you to look at. What are these signs? I'm giving you time to have a look and have a think. My husband's a very, very good driver, and this yellow diamond shape, and then with the line through it, did actually throw him for a second, and I see them a lot. And I think it's quite apt that they came after what I just said. So here you go. It is about the right of way again. So priorité ponctuelle means it's punctuated, which means it's not always your right of way. Now, in that sign where it says in all the village, you haven't got right of way, sometimes you have. So they have to tell you that you've got right of way and make the important arrow the big one to going straight on. Next, this is just the sign saying you have right of way in all the time until you see that you don't. That yellow sign, I thought it was urban clearway or something, which kind of makes sense, but it means you can drive without without worrying about people popping out in front of you. So that yellow sign is really important. And I've just seen, I got a nice little error. There we go. We'll take that out. All right. Okay. So we'll go back. Now then, oh, to be human. So on we go. What are the distances de sécurité? Distance de sécurité. Now, while you're having a think on that one, you will notice if you're driving in France, if you come from the UK, you leave a stopping distance in front. We do this. We leave a nice big gap that the French, wherever you are, whichever kind of road you're on, feel compelled to fill and slow you down and really frustrate you. But that's how they drive. If they see a gap, they want to be in front. They want to get ahead. That's how they drive. It's as if that gap is for them and they are compelled to fill it, and they will do anything to get there. They feel that if you're not closing the gap, you're being frustratingly slow. It's like, what's going on? You're slowing me down even. So that's the kind of mentality. They don't want to see that gap, and that's how they drive. So it's not personal. They're not deliberately tailgating you. They're just seeing that there's an opportunity ahead and they want to fill it. Now, that covers safe stopping distances. So here we are. Okay, they will drive into the stopping distance. Just let them go. There's no need to get frustrated. They want to fill it. Just slacken off as soon as they're in front of you. Know that if someone's right behind you, they're going to want to get in front. So if you want a screenshot of this, thank you for this photo. I recognize who's given it to me. And basically you need to have thinking and stopping distance there. That is really important. Now, my car is English still. I haven't bought a French car, so I'm in miles per hour there. So we move on. Do you have speed trap show up on your sat-nav? Now that's interesting because as my car is English and I had my sat-nav installed, I came to France, and for 4 years, I had a sat-nav that showed all the radars, all the speed traps, everything popped up. So I always knew when to slow down. Not actually knowing that because I had an English registration number, I wouldn't be visible on the French system anyway. So I go out and get myself la carte grise, the grey card, and that means I can have my registration plate changed to a French one. I've not had the volant, the steering wheel changed, of course, it's too much. but it means that my car is now French registered and I am now visible on their systems. But it also meant that I had to have my sat-nav updated because it is actually illegal. So I have to drive much more carefully, and that's not a bad thing anyway. Now, they're all called radar, okay? And you can check this. I'm not going to read it out to you, but you can actually pause, go back later and have a look at what all these mean. So if you're going to, like me, probably take your test in France, we're waiting for Brexit notifications just to see whether we have to or not. But even so, it doesn't hurt to know the types of speed traps that there are. Oh, the next one is, what's the symbol on the bottom right? What is that symbol if you're driving and you park your car? There's a clue. And you think, can I park here? There's a clue. What is that symbol on the bottom right that looks like a nose and a mouth even? I keep giving little clues. Okay, here you go. It's the way you look at the sign. So you need to be looking at the sign front on, and the left is over the other side and the right is this side. So it's your left and right as you look at the sign. So you need to be looking at the sign. That's all it is. So in this particular one, you can't park because it's prohibited. You can't park from the 16th to the 31st of the month. And on this side, on the right, you can't park. And people think you can, but you can't park from the 1st to the 15th, which means, what is the date today? Oh gosh, 22nd of June, which means you need to be parking on the right-hand side of the road. There you go. Next, roundabout driving. Please put in absolutely any comment about driving on a roundabout in France. I found the official positioning on a roundabout as you're going around of where you really ought to be, especially on one that's got space to do this. Some of the mini roundabouts, you just have to go around it in turn because there's only room for one. But do you see the French driving? If you're going all the way around, you aim for the center, or you aim for the center and then veer out slightly as you get straight ahead, and then start indicating and go right. Okay, indicating is clignoter. Okay, to clignote, to contourne, to clignote. Okay, et tu sors du rond-point. Okay, so do you see this? You actually see this when you're driving in France. This is another moment of tension in our car when my husband is positioned perfectly. You can position yourself perfectly. The French will position themselves to fill the gap. They go for the point for them of least resistance, even to the point where some will cut you up. So, bearing in mind, if you're going to take the test, you will need to be following this regardless of what everybody else is doing on the roundabout. You might not always see that. Now, the speed reductions in bad weather. The speed reductions in bad weather. In the UK, we just have to drive with due care and attention. We don't have a dual system of changing our speed because of the weather. However, in France, you are expected to slow down and the speed traps can catch you at that point. So as soon as it's raining, watch out. Here they are. So this is in kilometers per hour. Okay, now it's nice. So if you've got this normally, as soon as it's rain or snow or hail, as we had yesterday, massive storm that totally thrashed out my vegetable plot. Everything looks like it's been gunshot. Okay, so you will reduce by 10, and by 20 on the motorways. And then this is for fog or smoke, whatever it is causing visibility problems. And then with a trailer, this is interesting. That's quite significant. So trailer will include caravan. So there you have it. What's this? Come on. It looks really easy. It really is actually quite easy. But the first time I ever came to France and saw this, it was like, deviation. Okay, I'm going to have to work this out. It's logical. But I just thought, deviation. What's that? Very simple. Deviation is a detour, a diversion from the norm, a deviation from the expected route. Now, that was also confusing because you're there trusting the signs because there's no way you can get past it. It's all blocked off. You follow Deviation, you get down the road somewhere and there's no way you know where to go. Well, basically, they don't put up the deviation sign or the Deviation at every single little turning and bend, only at where you think there's a major decision to be made and it's obvious that you've got to turn off the main route. So basically you ignore everything until you see that sign again. So stick to the main road, even if it's going around bends. That was confusing because I expected deviation signs, like 100 of them all along, everywhere, at every possible doubt. And you know what? When you're first driving somewhere strange, it's quite confusing and you want to trust it and you want to turn off. It's like, do I go left or right? You follow the main part of the road, the most obvious route. What's a donkey back? A donkey back. Love this term. Love it in French. What is a donkey back? Here's a clue. Between me and Tarbes, I have to go over about 5 donkey backs in the village before getting to the main road. There's a clue. And the speed limit is 30. So I have to slow down for this. It's le dos d'âne, the back of a donkey, or a sleeping policeman, as we sometimes call it. My dad explained to me, it's like there's a policeman on the road and he's checking your speed for you. So we call it a sleeping policeman. In French, it's le dos d'âne. Okay. And they say it so fast, it sounds like one word. Le dos d'âne. Le dos d'âne. Il y a un dos d'âne. Il y a beaucoup de dos d'âne. Ici, on a prévu un dos d'âne dans la rue derrière. Un dos d'âne. Amazing pronunciation. Good. Right. Les feux. So this is your lights on and off. Okay. Now, les feux are your lights. And you've got the verb. I thought I'd explain this. Allumer, the verb to allumer is to light. Light your fires. your main headlights are called feu. Now, it's interesting that allumer is also to light, and a match, a little match, is une allumette. Une allumette. Okay. And fin d'allumage. So you're probably coming out of a place where you don't need your headlights again, so you don't dazzle anybody. Interesting. Have you got any questions about these signs? I'm just going to put them all up. It's going to take you a little minute to just look through them. Have you got any that you would like me to help with? Any that you don't understand? There's certainly one, and I can see, hey, while you're looking, I make mistakes. Look at this. Everybody makes mistakes. What should that be? Okay, if not, put them in the conversation when you're watching the replay. And on we go. Now, here we go. If your learning is not rewarding, effective, adventurous learning, then you need to look at how you're learning or what you're learning or who you're learning with, because learning French should be something you really look forward to. There shouldn't be any dread, any fear. And if you do have some fear, the people that you are with are there to help you overcome it. If you have difficulty in choosing what to learn, the community that you're in will help you choose the right things to learn for you. If your learning is not effective and you're struggling to retain all the words and get them out in spontaneous conversations, then your learning community is there for you to ask those questions. Why am I not learning enough? Our learning community is Simply French Family, which is free in Facebook, and our private group is Conversation Cafe, which is a very tight-knit, beautiful group of people who are constantly supporting their rewarding, effective and adventurous learning, all in conversations, of course. And I can say merci à la prochaine. And you can see me, I'm back again for you tonight. Now, all I want to do is say thank you, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for coming tonight. And if you've got any questions about driving in France, get them to me. Merci et au revoir.